It's almost amazing to think about it, but we're still talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard, and especially the amount of cope from the journalists that are out there that were bigging up this game prior to release, and then it came out, and then it flopped, and everybody's seen it for exactly the way that it was, and now here we are 4 months after release, it's being given away for free, but no, guys, that's actually still a big win, and anybody who is laughing at this game's expedited failure, you're just culture war chuds. Like, it's kind of amazing, right? Like, I don't know which game has had just a more decrepit life cycle. Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Concord, or the Veilguard. All of them have been unique in their own types of failure, right? Because I don't think there was anybody really defending Star Wars Outlaws. Like, that was just kind of the black sheep where everybody was just either the shill side of the things were just trying to pretend like it didn't exist, and then you had Concord that was just such a flash in the pan disaster, and then you've got Shadows, which has just been this protracted extended deluge of failure. But the Veilguard, I guess it probably just hit on all of the right points, and it was earmarked for success. It had all the prestige from a once great and vaunted studio. It had all of the pre-approved talking points affixed and stapled to the game, and then it died. This game would have came out in 2020, probably in on and around, when the game was arguably set for release, because you remember, Inquisition came out in 14, and this game has been in development for as long. You would have thought that, yeah, they probably had this earmarked for 2019, 2020, and it probably would have done absolutely fine, mostly because it would have been the Dreadwolf at that point in time, and Busche was still hitting for his or her biological team. Not saying it would have been good, I'm just saying it very much would have been better, and of course better received. And now that people kind of have the tools to discern if a game is worth their time or not, that have had the ability to pattern recognize failures on the horizon, this game not failed as it should have, because it's atrocious. This isn't a second look gem. This isn't something that people 5 years down the road are going to look back on and go, we should have been kinder to you. We didn't realize how good we had it with the Veilguard. This will never be favorably compared to, like, Ubisoft or whoever's going to own the IP, might be able to fix Star Wars Outlaws, and after a while, even though, like, the story and the characters and the writing are just fundamentally broken, like, they may be able to look back on it, through modding and who knows what else. They might be able to favorably look back on that and things, who knows in gaming, right? Like 5 years down the line, how many major studios are still going to be open, but you might be able to say that, you thought it was bad with Outlaws, but, when 2030 rolled around, you didn't realize how bad things could actually get. But nobody's going to make those comparisons with the Veilguard. This thing was ass the entire way through, and the fact that it's given away for free and it still hasn't boosted any metrics at all just lets you know how big of a failure this actually was. But you know what? It wasn't the game itself that led this to be the complete and total catastrophe that EA admitted it was. It was actually, well, let's let Kotaku illustrate this for a second. After it endured a decade of development hell, okay, you could have stopped right there. And heaps of culture war bullshit. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, no, it wasn't that it was a bad game that was put through a belabored production process. It's just culture war bullshit, right? This is always what happens, right? Whenever that side is losing the argument, oh, why do you care so much about the stuff that we were just marching through all the institutions in order to force on everybody? Okay, now that we're finally being called out for it, why do you care about it so much? Okay, we want pronouns. We demand pronouns in everything. We demand all of our fetishes be put on the big screen. And the moment that they start to fail, and the moment it starts to get any kind of pushback, oh, why do you care about it so much? Oh, it was always like this. It's like, no, it wasn't. We started to call it out, and if it isn't such a big deal, why do you care if we get rid of it? Oh, okay, cool, because it's all projection with you freaks, huh? It's a shame that more people haven't played the Veilguard. No, requisite amount of people played it. I watched quite a bit of the gameplay of it. It sucks. It's a really bad game. That's not, even to mention the restructuring of BioWare that followed in the wake of the game's release. What, you're going to try to shame me into picking up this tripe? I mean, everybody who worked on this game shouldn't be employed. I'm not just talking to BioWare. I'm saying that, like, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, wherever they're at, like, they aren't competent enough to work a creamer, let alone program a game. Publisher EA says about 1.5 million people played the long-awaited, fantasy RPG as of January. No, that's a rewriting of history. And this is Kotaku once again caught with their hand in the cookie jar. That was from a financial report from the from the fourth quarter of 2024. So that was from the time of release, 1.5 million interactions, okay, engagements with the Veilguard. So that's not purchases, okay, that's just people who engaged with the game. We don't even know what that metric is. So yeah, it's well south of 1.5 million purchases. It's well south of 1 million purchases. But yes, just a fraction of the 12 million that Busche Dragon Age Inquisition, 10 years prior. Yeah, a fraction of the engagements. Despite all that, the Veilguard is still a really solid action RPG. Yeah, Kotaku gave a 9? Yeah. That should have marked a clean slate for BioWare after the studio spent years getting out from under live service and open world misfires that plagued games like Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, which I'm sure you guys also gave a glowing review to both of those games. Maybe not Anthem, but I'm sure you probably, praised the hell and back Mass Effect Andromeda. But get out of here. Culture war bullshit? No, the game was awful. I'll give it one thing, unlike several other, beloved and derided releases in the past few years, it wasn't a buggy disaster. It was just, broken from the ground up. So I guess that's one thing that you can say it had going for it. But yeah, if you didn't put in all your politics, the game still would have been bad and it would have been forgotten in an equal amount of time. It just probably wouldn't have been as embarrassingly given away in such a short period of time had it not had cringy, non-binary monologues and a coming out scene very reminiscent of the lead writer's own personal experiences. More cope, now this time care of Polygon. Did Dragon Age the Veilguard undersell or face unrealistic expectations? Oh no, it very much did undersell, okay? But the unrealistic expectations of 3 million engagements from the sequel to a game that sold, as we've seen before from Kotaku, 10 million units? How is that unreasonable for a game that also likely cost north of $200+ million? I mean, it was in development for 10+ years, guys. Not every game can be a mega hit, but you would imagine that at least, you would at least hope for a jab. It's not the first time I've written about a video game that appears to have been sent out to die. The game kicked off like the holiday season. It released on October 31st, and it was the scariest thing about that day. Sent out to die? I mean, it was the primed big budget release for EA for the holiday season. What are you doing? Okay, which of course was one of the subjects of Electronic Arts' third quarter earnings call on Tuesday with CEO Andrew Wilson. He has 1.5 million engagement in his first 2 months after release. So yeah, it's not since January at all. Okay, that was up to January, Kotaku, you bunch of hacks. Yes, Veilguard is also available via the $16.99 a month subscription EA Play Pro, and the 1.5 million players would include those players, so the exact number of units sold is unknown. It died. It absolutely died. Many have zeroed in on the shared worlds feature. Yes, part of this quote, wanting to make it, a live action game, and it's like, that wouldn't have helped. It's still written by rank amateurs. The suggestion that Wilson is blaming Veilguard's feature sales, lack live service elements, shared world elements would have been out of place in the Veilguard, to be sure. Everything was out of place in that game. But what part I'm fixated on is the last part when Wilson said that the Veilguard did not resonate with a broad enough audience in a highly competitive market. Yeah, there's a lot of big budget RPGs that are out there. That is, it's from Studio Zero Atlas. Is that Metaphor ReFantasio? Yeah, that game was an absolute hit. And to this very day, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is a game that I'm absolutely going to sing its praises to the end of time, because I think the more I think about it, the more I'm rewarded for my thoughts about the game. I think that it is exceptional. It is one of the best stories we have seen in decades in gaming, with some of the best characters that we have ever seen in video games. But I'll eventually get around to my big boy review on that one. But yeah, the more I think about the game, the more I like it, and the more I play it, the more I appreciate its not Souls-like, highly stylized combat. Yeah, it's a banger game to play, and then you're also rewarded with one of the best stories over the top of it. And then you've got this, malformed tumor on the side of RPGs in the form of the Veilguard there. So yeah, one of these things is definitely not like the other. And it's so funny how Polygon wants to go ahead and put one of the most aesthetically pleasing characters that anybody has created in the Veilguard, because if you've seen thumbnails, it's like, what was it, Az's Canary Abomination? That was on everybody's thumbnails, myself included. I have a couple of them that are out there, but even the one that was it Kotaku made or something like that? That just absolutely stone-faced chromosome eater. Like, it's just ugly people. Ugly. Same with Avowed. And that's another reason why that game failed too. Where's the cope for that one? Or has everybody already forgot that Avowed came out 2 weeks ago, for Christ's sakes? There's no secret that, yes, 2024 was a huge hit for RPGs, and all of those RPGs had arguably misfortune of following in the footsteps of an unexpected juggernaut that was from a year ago in Baldur's Gate 3, which sold 2.5 million copies after entering early access in 2020. Since fully launching in 2023, it had sold 15 million copies, still in Steam's top 20 most played games, even to this very day. So yeah, a game that is, a CRPG is definitely going to tread on the footsteps of an action RPG like the Veilguard. This is some just multi-dimensional cope that'll never make sense at all whatsoever, but this is what all of these out-of-touch rags continue to hit on. So they're going to say, actually, it was the studio meddling. It had nothing to do with the actual game being good, because realistically, guys, it is something that you're going to look back on in 10 years, just like The Last Jedi, and say that it was a massive success. Well, guess what? TikTok, the clock is just about strike midnight on The Last Jedi, and oh yeah, BioWare's not even going to be a thing in 10 years, and not even be a thing in 10 months. But something else that I wanted to talk about, and I just forgot about it, it just blanked my mind, when we all had the good laugh about, Dragon Age going for free at the end of last month, or I'm sorry, at the end of last week. Well, I guess it would have been at the end of last month when I did the video on it, but yeah, you had those three. You have two great games in the form of the Sonic Colors Remaster, or next gen port, and was it Colors Ultimate, and then also TMNT the Cowabunga collection, which has all of the best TMNT games put together in a one package. I would highly recommend just downloading, if you have PlayStation, whatever the hell they're calling it at this point in time, getting those two games, and then just leaving the Veilguard, just leaving it out to pasture. But if you have a VPN, or if you have a PlayStation account that is out there in the good old Saudi Arabia or the UAE, or out in PlayStation's Middle Eastern areas, don't have to worry about disregarding the third game on your free your PlayStation Plus Essentials for March of 2025. You get something different, okay? Because PlayStation Plus subscribers roast replacement of Dragon Age the Veilguard. Well, there's absolutely no way this article isn't about to incite some culture war nonsense. See, it's still even going over at the Gaming Bible, which is a generally decent website. So buckle up, folks, because the comment section on this one, it's going to be rough. Let's see how many comments are even on this one. Like, I bet there's probably not. Oh, you got to scroll down how far for the comments? Like, shut up. So you've heard, yes, the Veilguard is included in March's PlayStation Plus monthly games lineup, alongside, yes, TMNT Cowabunga collection and Sonic Colors Ultimate. There's something else to it, but yes, okay. So UAE has swapped out UAE, Afghanistan, Yemen, and Iran, where it's illegal to be gay. Yeah, no. So they have a based sign of life. To rectify this, Sony has revealed the PlayStation Plus players in the Middle East will instead get Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, a game that is, by all accounts, a bit rubbish. Yeah, but it's probably still better than just the absolute cancer that is Dragon Age the Veilguard. Hilarious. Once again, okay, so when every company in a couple of months' time does all of their virtue signaling for, oh, look at how fantastic a June is, okay, we appreciate our gays. But whenever, okay, you see your big endery companies come out and do that stuff, just always just take a couple of extra clicks out of your day and just go to their Middle Eastern affiliates, and then when everybody decides to put the rainbow filter over their profile, decides to make gay the word of the day, just take a look and see at what BMW UAE, or take a look at what Tesla, or well, not Tesla, they're kind of based obviously, but Nike Dubai. You just check out how many rainbow flags are flying over there. Yeah, exactly. It's all a big racket, and if they want to talk about culture war bullshit, we know what side is actively losing that war. Sucks to suck, I guess. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Coswell, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.